going to show you now how to use flowers in the UV resin. So I've chosen a mould. Make sure your mould's clean. Take your bottle of resin and pour a thin layer into the mould, just keeping that pour in the centre of the mould and letting the mould fill from the inside out. It takes seconds to do that, and you just get a much more cleaner pour. So once that has filled the whole of the mould, I'm just going to take a cocktail stick and again go around the edge just to make sure that the resin has adhered to the edge and there are no bubbles. One little bubble there, I'll drag it to the side and just pop that. Now I'm going to cure that layer there. I could put it under my lamp, my UV lamp, for 30 seconds, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my torch this time just to do a very, very quick 8, 9, 10 second cure. So I put that on top about 2 or 3 inches from the surface of the resin. UV resin cures very, very quickly under the UV light. So I'm just going to move the torch away now, and you'll see that the surface of the resin has skimmed over, and to the touch I can't make an indent. So now I can start popping on some flowers. So I'm going to take a little blue flower. Now don't forget that the front of your piece of jewellery will be the bottom part of the mould. So if you're using dried flowers or anything that's got a specific top or bottom, make sure you pop that into the mould upside down. So I'm going to take this flower, and it's completely dry. Don't try putting fresh flowers into resin. Resin does not like humidity. It does not like moisture. It hates water. So just use dried flowers. I'm going to pop another tiny one of that same flower, again, upside down, and just pop that down. Because I've only slightly cured that layer, I've still got some surface tension for the flowers to stick to. Now I'm going to take one of these, which is called a Queen Anne lace, and I'm just going to pop that to the side. And then just to give it a little bit of colour, I'm just going to pop another little flower in there. And then I'm going to finally add another of my little blue flowers off to the side. Now you can put them in completely symmetrically, completely in the centre, but I'm quite asymmetrical, so mine are in an asymmetric format. What I'm going to do now is take the resin again and fill the mould. So again, right from the centre, holding the bottle up probably about 1 centimetre from the mould, and again letting it fill itself. You've got, what happens now when you've got sort of inclusions in resin is you will get little air pockets in those inclusions, whether they're flowers, glitters, little bits of foil, no matter what. So it's just imperative that you pour that resin really, really slowly. And again, looking for bubbles. We'll just get that one on the side there and take the cocktail stick all the way around so that the resin is adhered to the outer edge of the mould. Now because the resin, when it's settling at the moment, and because it's adhering to the centre of the mould, it causes a slight concave effect on the top, the opposite of a dome. So when that piece of, when that pendant is cured totally, you might just want to infill with some more resin, which I'll show you in a moment. So I'm now going to take, again, I'm going to just take my torch, and because I don't want my flowers to slip around, to move around, so I'm going to cure it slightly with the torch so that they're completely glued in, and then move it round into underneath the UV lamp. I'm going to put that under the UV lamp for 99 seconds because we have got 2 layers of resin in there, albeit we cured the first one slightly. So I'm going to slide that over now under the lamp and press the 99 seconds. I'm now going to take the mould from underneath the light, and I'm going to just test that surface again. And that feels really nice and firm. So what I'm going to do now is demold it, and I'm just going to slightly just ease it out from underneath again and just push it from behind. Don't pull, just push. And then once you've got an edge to it, see this is, you see the depth on that there? That's probably a good 5 or 6 mil of resin level. Then when you know that it's released itself from the silicone mould, take it out and flip it over. Now, as I said earlier, that when you're using resin in a silicone mould, the base of the mould is the front of your piece, and the back that you're seeing and pouring into is the back of your mould. So what I'm going to do now is, because that's a little bit concave in there, I'm going to take a little bit more resin, and again I'm leaving it outside of the mould, not putting it back. If I put it back into the mould, it wouldn't fit, it wouldn't stick to the sides of that mould like it did prior to the resin being completely cured. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some resin just in the centre, very, very carefully, because obviously I've got the hole as well to think about, which ideally I really don't want to fill with resin. If for any reason you did, don't worry about it. You can just use a little hand drill or a little electric drill to drill the hole through. So I'm going to ease that resin up to the edges. And because I've come onto the back of the pendant, that resin now will self-dome itself so that I'll have a nice back to it. And the more resin that goes onto a piece, the more magnification that you get. Now I'm going to move that under the lamp once I've got rid of that little bubble. But again, I'm just going to use my torch in order that I won't get a spillage. Just cure that for 5 seconds. That's fine. And then slide that back under the lamp, this time for 60 seconds, because we've already cured the 2 previous layers. And now we've only got probably a 1 mil layer to cure, so that should cure in 60 seconds. But if you think it hasn't, if you think it's still a little bit tacky, then just pop it back under the lamp for another 10 seconds up to 30 seconds, between 10 and 30 seconds. Right, I'm now going to take my mould from under the lamp and using the cocktail stick as a tester again, just test that layer, which is nice and hard. And then that is the back of the pendant dealt with. They pop that over, and that's how you use dried flowers in a UV resin pendant.